Good evening and welcome to Up Late with the Dungeon Master. On tonight's episode, we are going to, of course, have our ubiquitous Ravenloft Minute. We are going to then take a look at the Mystic Odyssey of Theros. We're going to look at some of its races and its subclasses, some of the new things that it's got going on. And we're going to take a look at some new Dungeons and Dragons swag, some things that have entered the world, the new board game, and maybe even a new Little My Little Pony tie-in. And then we are going to, at long last, build something. That's right. We are going to finally start building our campaign. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Up Late with the Dungeon Master. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm gonna give everybody a couple seconds to jump in, and then we are going to tonight first take a look at the journal of Dr. Victor Mordenham. Dr. Victor Mordenham was a mad scientist from the land of Lemordia, and he created something that would become known as Mordenham's monster. His name was Adam. So what we're going to do is pause the music here real quick. Let's say hey to everybody in chat. Hey Mike, how's it going this evening, buddy? How you doing? Nice to see you. Does everything sound okay? Music sound alright? This is the first time with the new layout. I hope it suits everybody. So we're gonna pause the music here as we go in to the journal of Dr. Victor Mordenham. It was the 19th of November, '02. It came to me last night. The secret of all secrets. How to restore life to a limp, soulless vessel. And to make it better. To make it breathe and to walk among us. But the vision was as shadowy and veiled. I saw the heart of it, but knew not how to make it beat. 31st of January, '06. Still the vision haunts me. In the few hours I slept, I allow myself each night. It comes to me, imploring me to lift that veil that surrounds it, the shroud that clings to it as a foolish mother attempts to shield her son from his destiny. The vision remains with me throughout my waking hours. I know I must cast all other thoughts aside and draw this secret into the light. It is my duty, my calling, because I alone have the skill and the intellect to bring this greatest gift to all mankind. 12th March 10. Elsa, my darling wife, has gone. I have sent her to reside with her cousins in Fruchenberg, despite her protest. It is for the best. Now nothing can distract me. With each day's work I go closer. With each night's work I go closer still. I must not falter now. A storm is coming, a great dark storm, and I must be prepared to greet it. 6th November 15. For 13 years I have labored, tireless, devoted. I have performed 1,000 experiments, dissections, vivisections, injections, first with mice, then rabbits, then dogs, and finally men. Now, at least I have the answer. I alone fully understand the complex electrochemical alterations which occur in the tiniest particle of a cell. I am drunk with knowledge. I alone know the secret of prompting those alterations in a single cell of a corpse's flesh. I alone can impart the proverbial spark of life to its limp, livid tissue, a spark that will spread from cell to cell as a wildfire sleeps across the sun-parched plain. Tonight, at the height of the storm, when the time was proper and the body correct, I accomplished precisely that. I accomplished the creation of of life. He is assembled from the finest parts. His arms are stronger than the arms of Hercules, his legs swifter than the legs of Hermes, his face grotesque to some, but it is to me more handsome than the face of Apollo. I will call him Adam, from Fanjecture. He is my masterpiece, my creation, my manly son. Only wonders can unfold in the days ahead. 13 November 15. As I suspected, his mind is a blank slate. Mine to shape as a father molds the mind of a child. I wanted to share my joy with my darling Elsa, to make my child, my brainchild, his own as well. I sent for her, and she has returned. It is clear that Adam adores her, but she is afraid of him. She claims she stays only to protect the man she once knew. I am better than the man she knew. She hovers about like a mad woman, wringing her hands, imploring me to destroy him. I would send her away were her face not so sweet to me still. But I know in time she will lose her insane fear, and I thrill in Adam's progress as much as I. To appease her, I have locked him in the tower rooms nearest my laboratory. Is everything good? Just checking the chat. I saw Mike. You said what's happened. Is everything still good? No? Is it not? Mike isn't. Check chat. Is it streaming? Let's see. Is having some issues. To appease her, I locked him in the tower rooms nearest my laboratory. Let's see. He has exceeded all expectations. Within weeks, he was no longer a simpleton. Thank you, Greg. Okay, just checking. Within weeks, he was no longer a simpleton, and to date, he has attained a level of knowledge some men never attain. His personality is becoming distinct, his will his own, yet his mind is still childlike. His intellectual progress has far surpassed his social maturation. He appears to be void of any sense of morality. Elsie claims he is evil, but that is nonsense. She's simply afraid because he appeared suddenly beside her one night, peering innocently through her bed curtains. Knowledge alone is not evil, and he is purely that, knowledge without experience in the etiquette and necessities of social interaction. 28th February 17. He is yet the child he should be, genius that he is. But something has changed. At times when I gaze at him, I imagine that he is a man older than I am myself. It is as if the soul of a stranger has found a home in the body of my construction. I must divorce myself from the emotion in order to address the true problem, his immaturity. 12th March 17. I cannot take him into the world, so I have brought the world to him. I have found a playmate for Adam. She is perfect, a true foundling, a child of 7 years with no family but our own. She lay in the alley in the village, at the doors of death. I have rescued her. Elsa has nursed her back to health. What a transformation! To know that beneath the bedraggled and filthy little heap I plucked from the street was an angel, a living sweetness with gleaming blonde hair and dark sparkling eyes that would melt the coldest heart. How could she help but inspire true virtue in our Adam? Elsie begs me not to introduce me to her, proclaiming that it is not safe. She threatens to leave me if I do, but I know she will not. Of course, I will take the proper precautions and never leave them unsupervised. I will watch them carefully and observe Adam's progress. I have named the girl Eva. 2nd April 17. The weather is awkward. For 2 days our castle has been cloaked in a dense fog. By the day, the light is eerie, gray. By night, it is darker still. Yesterday evening, I stepped outside for a moment, but I could see nothing beyond the tips of my fingers. All around was a sound of water dripping from the trees. Today, the mist appeared lighter. Perhaps tomorrow they will lift altogether. They seem to reflect Adam. He is agitated, and I can hear him pacing in his chambers. 4th of 17, April. Hell has descended upon us. Last night I awakened to found the sound of screams. They emanated from Ava's chamber, echoing down the vast hall that separated it from our own room. I rushed down and found Elsie crumpled beside the empty bed, her body broken and bent. Her face was tense with pain, and her wide eyes were fixed upon the corner of the room. Eva was missing, and then I saw Adam, his eyes wild with fury. He stepped out of the shadows. He held a small piece of cloth, tattered white linen with lace that was flecked with red. It was lace from Ava's night clothes. I lunged at him. Instead of meeting his hard, massive form, I fell into a void, my hands striking only the shadows before it crashed onto the floor. I saw him plunge through a window 3 stories from the ground. I stood at the casing, amazed, watched as his dark form disappeared into the mist. April 9th, 17. I have not slept for days. Elsie awakened briefly today, calling for Eva. I kept her sedated so she will not realize her condition. 27, April 17. Today I must remove another part to save the whole. There is little left of darling Elsa. Under my constant care she lives. I have not ventured from the castle in weeks. I do not know what has become of Ava. The truth is too hard to contemplate. Adam is gone forever. Of that I am sure. I do not care what becomes of him. Another purpose drives me now. Elsa must be restored. The vigil seems to have affected my vision. Outside the landscapes look blurred and strange. Today I must leave to begin my grim search. Only perfection will suffice. It will be the last construct by this architect of flesh. But I will not rest until it is done, and I have atoned for the hell I have brought upon her. So, that was a reading from... I feel like we're in church here. That was from Victor Mordenham's journal. So what that was Dr. Victor Mordenham was so obsessed with creating life that he created this creature called Adam. It is basically the Ravenloft version of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. And so what ends up happening is a lot of people think that Victor Mordenham is the ruler of Lamortia, when in all actuality, it's Adam's monster. So you notice that the scenery changed at one point there when Adam came to be. That's when Lamortia was drawn into the demi-plane of dread. And what Adam did in taking Ava off and killing her sealed his fate and cemented his place in the demi-plane. And Victor Mordenham would spend the rest of his time trying to repair his wife Elsa, and he never would, and he's trapped in this vicious cycle. And that is there's a couple different modules that are set off of that story. Adam's Wrath is the biggest one, and I think we read a little bit from that before, but it's really interesting. What Ravenloft does a lot of times is takes works of fiction like Frankenstein, Dracula, and imports them into their stories. And I always found Victor Mordenham a extremely flawed and troubled character. He was never evil. He always wanted to do things for scientific purposes, and that's one of the things that makes him so tragic. But anyway, that is your reading, your Ravenloft reading for this evening. So let's check the chat here. Let me say hey to everybody. Mike, good evening, sir. How are you? Great. Good to see you. Adam, how's it going this evening? How, interesting that we talked about Adam this evening. Russell, how's it going? Yeah, there was a little, something going on. I don't know what was going on with the feed, so there was a little confusion. Lamortia, yes, Lamortia, I say. Yeah, let's see. Chat box is not showing up. Let's see. So, yeah, the chat box is not showing on the screen. So anyway, this is the first night with the new layout. How does it look, everybody? Does it look any better? Look any different? I got some interesting plans for this evening. So, as you saw in the introduction, we're going to take a look at some new things that came out. By the end of the episode, we are going to live build the first two parts of our campaign setting. So, let me close this and let's get into the next portion for the evening. So we got some news. Yes, like the island of Lemortia. Yep. So let's take a look. So Mystic Odyssey of Theros is out. Let's change some stuff around here. Let's get the music back up so we got something to listen to now that we got some music. Let's see. Window capture. All right. So today, guess what came out? Mystic Odyssey of Theros. Now, for 5 points, can anybody tell me where Mystic Odyssey of Theros is from? Yeah. Yes, Magic the Gathering setting. So, along with the Mystic Odyssey of Theros comes some new races and subclasses. So, we're going to take a look at some new races and subclasses that have come along. We're going to do a complete review of Mystic Odyssey of Theros at some point. But it's not going to be today. Today, we're just going to take a look at some new races and subclasses. So, this comes to us from Blizzard Watch. Centaur, Satyr, Minotaur, and more, the new races and subclasses in Mystic Odyssey of Theros, the latest D&D sourcebook. Let's see. Artwork looks fantastic. How does everybody think about the artwork? Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, the artwork is what the artwork is, so it's going to be good. So the new Dungeons & Dragons sourcebook, Mystic Odyssey of Theros, has launched on D&D Beyond, with print editions coming in July. So the article's a little bit older, but that's today. This is a Greek mythology-inspired setting, crossed over with the magical pseudo-medieval setting of the original. In this new land, familiar D&D races like elves, dwarves, and half-orcs don't exist. In their place, a number of new or existing but redesigned races are there for the players to add to their campaign. Additionally, 2 new subclasses have been added, College of Eloquence Bard and Oath of Glory for Paladin. Let's take a closer look at the races and subclasses you can find in this new sourcebook. Now, I want to say that even though that this is a separate sourcebook, you can certainly take what you find in this book and apply it to whatever D&D campaign you have. And as a matter of fact, some of the stuff that I read on it really gives you some good guidelines on how to deal with deities and how deities can affect your game world. So, okay, starting maybe to see how this book, even though it's a Magic the Gathering book, could help out people's campaigns, and I may actually end up picking it up and then ripping it to shreds. But anyway, okay. So we're going to take a look at some new races here. So, can everybody see this okay, or should I enlarge this window? What do you guys think? Lisa! How's it going this evening, Lisa? So, Lisa is here. So, okay. Let's go with right here, Centaur. I'm going to assume you guys can see this okay. So, actually, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, centaurs. Humanoid from the waist up, then horse from the waist down, every woman's dream. This was taken into consideration when determining their abilities. Walking speed is 40 feet, and their hooves can be used as a melee weapon. They have built-in charge attack, so if they move at least 30 feet towards their target, they can immediately attack with their hooves as a bonus action. So I guess that's above and beyond any type of action that they take. So that's actually pretty cool. So you could have an attack with whatever melee weapon you have, and then you could have your bonus action as hooves. Fantastic. I wonder if you could have one of your friends ride on your back. I mean, how cool would that be? You got your centaur, So you've got your centaur and like whatever melee attack you have, then your hooves, then you got your halfling friend on your back, like a screaming halfling banshee, with like braids a flowing and like a little war axe, just like that would be pretty cool. So I think that'd be awesome. So let's see. All right, where we at? Their equine body means they have increased carrying capacity. The way a mount allows players to carry more, as all dungeon masters are strict about how much weight a player can carry. That's a little presumptuous. As all dungeon masters are strict about how much weight a player can carry. I mean, not really though. So there's some dungeon masters that hand wave that stuff, but whatever. The body and hooves also mean that they. Oh, man. Oh, yep. Sorry about that. Yeah. Any hoodle. Let me get back to this. So, the body and hooves also mean they have trouble climbing and have a penalty to climbing speed. They have a starting ability score increase of +2 and a wisdom of +1. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Who out there in chat would consider playing a centaur? What do you think? I mean, it's a little limiting as far as what you could, buildings you could and couldn't get into, and I bet you there's some people who would frown upon you entering like certain buildings. I couldn't imagine you if you're walking into like a china shop or some museum that a lot of people would like letting you walk in. Yeah. Lisa, everybody uses encumbrance rules. Cough, cough, because nobody hands waves encumbrance or gives people bags of holding to just like, encumbrance. Yeah, we'll worry about that. Or gets a horse in a carriage or a donkey in a carriage. Yeah. Adam, I imagine it does come with the massivum. Yeah. Okay. So, there's the centaur. So let's move down to this. Leonin. This is like a tabaxi on steroids. Leonin. These are not tabaxi. First statement right there. These are not tabaxi. These are lion humanoids. They stand as their own race. They are loners, wanderers, out there on the plains avoiding others, who will only begrudgingly join a party due to necessity. They are quick stalkers with a walking speed of 35 and innate dark vision. They have a built-in weapon with their claws, an unarmed attack that deals slashing damage increased by their strength modifier. And they are lions, so of course they have a ferocious roar. As a bonus action, they can roar that frightens a creature of their choice. They have a starting ability score increase, Constitution +2 and Strength +1. That's interesting. So, frightens a creature of their choice. So it'd be interesting to look into what the mechanics is, like what happens when they frighten a creature. So let's see. Probably frightened creature, so he's probably gonna have like a disadvantage on attack rolls if frightened. But it's a pretty stout looking creature there. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not Constitution 2 strength. So you kind of wonder why it wouldn't be strength +2 and then a Constitution +1. I don't know. It seems like lions would be pretty stout and pretty strong. So anyway, so moving on. Minotaur. Human bulls. Some seek to slaughter those who put down their race for ages, and others know that they are accepted in society. They are all about their horns. Horn attack is an unarmed attack that does piercing damage plus their strength modifier. If they dash, they can use their horn as a attack as a bonus action. When they attack, they can shove a creature with their horns and move them 10 feet. Also, they have a proficiency with intimidation or persuasion, probably because of the horns, and have a starting ability score increase of strength +2 and constitution +1. Okay, so not a lot of flavor to this. Oh man, you figure that the okay, let's take a look at this here. If they dash, they can use their horn attack as a bonus action. So they take the dash action and then use their horn attack as a bonus action. So what is their let's see. So it doesn't show what their base speed increase is. So we have to assume that their base speed is 30 feet. 30 feet. So with the dash action, you could move 60 feet and then use your horn attack as a bonus action. So that's pretty stout. And then move a creature 10 feet away. So one thing you have to remember, though, and this will come up at some point in time, if you hit that creature and drive him 10 feet and he passes one of your other players because he didn't voluntarily move away from you 10 feet, it does not incur an attack of opportunity for anybody he passes along the way. At least not rules as written. So, yeah. So let's move on from Minotaur. Satyr. She looks real happy. I mean, I don't know. The satyr looks really happy. And whoever she's hugging looks really afraid. Can everybody see that? See the face here? Big old bug eyes. Yeah. So, all right. Satyr. Humanoids. Shorter with goat-like horns, pointed ears, legs covered in fur and hooves. They don't take life as serious as others and believe it should be enjoyed. Their walking speed is 35 because they can use their horns to ram a target. A bludgeoning attack with their strength modifier like other races so far, but they don't start with a strength bonus. They have advantage on saving throws against spells and magical effects. A fairly powerful racial bonus as it doesn't specify a particular kind of magic. Satyrs also gain a bonus of an 8-sided die, a d8, to long or high jumps. They have the starting ability score increase of Charisma +2 and Dexterity +1. So why play a Satyr? Well, your speed is increased. Then again, you have your bludgeoning attack with strength modifier. Yeah, I don't know. Bonus to save. Satyrs also gain a bonus of an 8-sided die to a long or high jump. So probably standing broad jumps, because they're bouncy legs. I don't know. I'm not, I want to get it. I really want to get excited about this. I do. I want to. I'm trying. Anyway, Triton. They're an amphibious race. They have fins and legs and more comfortable underwater, but are able to hold their own on land among the dry folk. They have a walking and swimming speed of 30 feet. So walking and swimming speed is the same? Usually swimming speed is faster. Okay. Originating from the sea, they have magical connection to control air and water and have certain spells granted them as a feat. From level 1, they can cast Fog Cloud from their anus. At level 3, they learn Gust of Wind from their anus. At level 5, they learn Wall of Water from their anus, which is weird. Their eyes have adjusted to the low light of the depths, giving them dark vision. Tritons can communicate to aquatic creatures like Aquaman, giving the simple ideas to beasts that breathe water. From living in the icy seas, they also have resistance to cold damage, and they have a starting ability score increase of Strength, Constitution, and Charisma +1. So this is the first one that gets 3 bonuses to their starting ability scores. So, why play a Triton? The Wall of Water farts, the Fog Cloud farts, and the Gust of Wind farts. That's what I would do. So, yeah. Is everybody with me so far? So, out of those ones we looked at, does anything there strike you as like stand out? Wow. Must have. I'll just give you guys a second to think about that. Let's see. Let's take a look at here. Let's take a look at go back to chat a little bit here. So yes, it does come with a massive center church. Lisa, I do agree with you. Tabaxi are better than the Leonids. They are. Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here. So, yeah. So far, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot stand out, but some of this too could be attributed to the writers of the article. So I think what I want to do is I want to get the book, take a look at it myself, see if there's other things that jump out at me. Maybe there's stuff that's missing here. So, all right. So now we're gonna move on to subclasses. So we've got new subclasses in the Mystic Odyssey of Theros. 2 new subclasses were added, one for Bard and one for Paladin, to go with the Greek theme. And the Bard was given the role of an actor on a stage, of course, a performer to pluck at the heartstrings and search the emotions of the audience. And the paladin is the Greek hero. That's a change because usually you think of paladins as like uber religious, and you're not going to get so much of that in Greek mythology. The champion who is a part of the group but who stands as the one remembered as the greatest among them for who all the tales are told. Now, see, from what I understand, Theros is like really big on creating the characters, having them be like god status warriors. You know, you're not going to find somebody who's like a lowly kid who grows up as an orphan and goes off to find adventure. No, you're going to start off being known. The gods are going to pluck you out and set you aside for greatness. So I think there's one of the big differences in playing in Theros. So okay, the Bard, College of Eloquence. Now, I would imagine that you're able to port these subclasses over into your own games. I don't see why not. So, College of Eloquence Bard. This is a very straightforward subclass with the theme of talking, inspiring, and trying to reach as many people as possible. The 14th level feature really makes great use of bardic inspiration. Hey, you out there in chat likes playing bards. I know one of you. This player wants to max out charisma and make full use of this by following our features granted to this subclass. Silver Tongue, a 3rd level feature. As a bonus action, third level feature. A persuasion or deception check roll of 9 or lower is considered to be a 10. So basically, it creates a floor as a 10. Yeah, it's not, it's, okay. Unsettling words. The 3rd level feature. As a bonus action, expend the use of bardic inspiration. Roll the bardic inspiration die. A creature of your choosing must subtract that roll from the next saving throw. So it's like reverse bardic inspiration. That's cool. Unfailing inspiration. That's a 6th level feature. So, sorry, give me 1 second here. When a creature adds one of your bardic inspiration die and the roll fails, the creature can keep that bardic inspiration die. Oh, so it's like it's a do-over. Let's see. Universal speech, the 6th level feature. Choose a number of creatures up to your charisma modifier, and they can understand you regardless of what language they speak up to 1 hour. Whoa, how good would that be if you're in sticky situations where you got to speak to, like, you know, a bunch of sentient plants or something. So, infectious inspiration, 14th level feature. Now this would be a capstone. When someone succeeds on a roll using bardic inspiration, use a reaction to give someone else bardic inspiration without spending any bardic inspiration uses. You can do this number times equal to your charisma modifier. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It's so I guess I'll direct this right to Lisa, who's playing a bard. Does any of that seem something that you would jump up and down for? Like any of those features a must-have? Because the only one that seems pretty interesting for me would be the unsettling words, the sort of the negative bardic inspiration. That's the only one that stands out as like, oh wow, that's pretty interesting. Maybe universal speech, just being able to talk to anything. So, all right. So we're gonna go on to the next one, the Paladin. Oath of Glory. Glory. No, Lore Bard is much better. Yeah, I agree with you. Lore Bard is much better. So far, not blown away. But anyway, Paladin, Oath of Glory. A paladin who takes this oath strives towards glorious deeds, facing hardships with allies and heroics that will make them a legend. They also get a lot of spells, too many to list here. Additionally, they have following features to make them legendary heroes that are meant to be. Channel Divinity, Peerless Athlete, 3rd level feature. As a bonus action, gain advantage on athletic and acrobatics checks. Increase the distance of long and high jumps by 10 feet for 10 minutes. Channel Divinity, Inspiring Smite. 3rd level feature. After dealing damage with Divine Smite, use a bonus action to give temporary hit points to creatures of your choosing, including yourself. How do you determine how many, though? So they don't really say. So Allure of Alacrity, 7th level feature. Increase your movement speed to yourself and any ally within 5 feet of you by 10. Can include any ally with 10 feet of you at level 18. So if you were to take that and apply it to the Minotaur, who could use the dash action and then gouge somebody. So you're looking at dashing 80 feet and then gouging some. Ooh, that could be serious. Yeah. Glorious Defense. 15th level feature. As a reaction, add your charisma modifier to a creature's armor class. When that creature is attacked, if that attack misses and your weapon can reach the attacker, you may attack that attacker. So, add your charisma modifier to a creature's armor class. When the creature is attacked, if that attack misses and your weapon can reach. So I guess that means you would add it to one of your friends' armor classes. And then if that attack misses, so it's almost like a reaction. Am I reading that right? It's almost like a reaction. Yeah. Okay. Living Legend, the 20th level feature. As a bonus action for 1 minute, gain advantage on all your charisma checks. Make missed attacks hit instead and re-roll a failed saving throw. I guess that means attacks that you make. So yeah, so that's it. I'm not particularly blown away. I'm not. But maybe there's more to it. Maybe I just I need to let's see here. Maybe I need to really dig into it to say how I feel about it. But so far, not so much. So what is everybody's thought in chat? Anybody see anything there that jumps out at them? What do you guys think? Is this much ado about nothing as far as a supplement goes and the new classes and features that you get? So, yeah. All right. Let me move on. I'm gonna move on to. Let's see. Apologies, guys, if I'm I'm a big meh. Yeah, it's a big meh. And the price tag that it is, there better be a lot more stuff in there that we're not that I'm not seeing. Apologies, guys. I'm this first time working with all the new transitions and everything. Yeah, I know, Mike. I know it's hard if you're not into that into this stuff. So, but so far, I try it would be cool if you're playing a nautical campaign. Yeah, because it's very specific. I could see that. You throw the Triton in with some of the other merfolk creatures that are already in D&D. They could be fun. But what I'm interested in seeing when I actually get a physical copy of the books is supposedly there's a lot of information on how the gods interact with the worlds and ways you can take that and use that in your campaigns. Because I don't ever think I'm going to run like a specifically Theros campaign. But I think some of that information I could probably just get online. So I don't really see me buying it. And that's not me being, edgelordy about it. That's just me being honest. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, anybody interested in seeing some other new D&D products that are out? Well, whether you are or not, I am going to show them to you. Because I can. All right, let's take a look at this. So, let me stop the music here. Let me stop the music because you're gonna want to hear this. So, Dungeons & Dragons on my Twitter feed today. This showed up. Step into the exciting world of D&D with Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Begins board game. Choose your characters, face fantastic obstacles, and defeat the boss monsters terrorizing the realm. So, let's take a look at this. You guys ready for this? All right, let me know if you can hear it.
Calling all heroes. Your adventure starts here. Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Begins is your entry to the world of D&D. Custom.
Oops, my fault.
Customize your character. Battle monsters. Explore dungeons. And save the day. Endless replayability means a new adventure every time. It's time to be a hero. Calling all heroes.
Be a hero.
Starts here. Dungeons and Dragons adventure begins.
All right, let me see if I can pause this here.
Heroes.
Yeah. So now we are entering a world where it was back in the late 80s, where you're starting to see all kinds of D&D tie-ins come out, which is fantastic. But let's see if we can take a look and pause here at specifics, like when we take a look at the cards and see what's actually on the cards, because apparently it's customizable. Not customizable, but the cards have these little slide bars that you can pick different things that your characters do. So it seems like pretty user friendly. But let's take a look here and see if we can see what's actually on the cards.
Your adventure starts here.
Your
Dungeons and
adventure
Dragons
starts
adventure
here.
begins. Is your entry to
No
the
experience
world of
needed.
D&D. Customize.
Oh, okay, let's see. Illusionist. So we got Salazar Astrorio, race human, class sorcerer. The trickster. He's clever. Okay, so you have like the player name, and then I imagine you could pick like a class, and it's like the trickster, and you have clever, playful, and patient, and it says there right there. It says invisible hand. A little magic here and there goes a long way. Once per dungeon board, you may something. Then yeah. So, yeah. So then it looks like you have spell cards too. So it looks like you're gonna. They say endless combinations, but it's probably not endless. So you probably have your character card, and then your class, and then spells. So you can probably mix and match. So let's see.
Your character.
Yep.
Battle monster.
Hail Hydra. Did you see that? Hydra. Hail Hydra. Anyway, sorry. Marvel tie-in.
Monsters. Explore dungeons.
So all the dungeon tiles are modular. So I guess you can arrange them in different ways. So I mean, it's probably limiting, but I guess it's a nice introduction to D&D for it's probably for kids. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's take a look at what that card said. Okay, so what is this? Is that hit points? Armor class? After okay, so 1 and 2 is a miss, 3, 5 tail lash, 6, 9 wing attack, then poison breath. After defeat, it was a hard fight, but as death sleep breathes last, poison breath, the forest around you brightens, the evil fog he created lifts, and finally the sun shines through the leaves. So, yeah, I don't know quite what to make of that. I don't know whether that 20-1 is hit points, or whether it's like a situation card where you have to destroy this dragon. Mike, the price tag is $29.95 on this, and we're gonna get to that in a second.
Endless replayability.
Endless.
New adventure every time.
Okay.
It's time to be a hero.
Yeah.
Call
This is okay. So, yeah. I don't know. So, a sneak attack. Yeah, I wonder how many of these. Like, they don't have a whole lot more information on it than this. So, but it seems like it would be a nice little. Okay, let's go to the website here. Pre-order. Comic-Con at home. Yeah. Oh, $24.99. Okay, $24.99. Estimated. It comes out in October 2020. So, yeah, looks it. Yeah, kind of does look like a complicated risk game. 20 HP max. You slide the black thing down as you attack it. Yep. No, it's not a bad price. I don't. It's not D&D, but it's D&D tie-in, and I don't know. I'm actually considering getting this because I think my boys they're a little young yet for D&D, and something like this would be a nice introduction to like the characters and some of the nomenclature. So what you can do here is when you start talking about spells and some of the creatures, you sort of get people acclimated to the world of D&D without like actually having to play D&D. So yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting. So let's see. Okay, here's a synopsis. The Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Begins game is a cooperative board game for ages 10 and up. It's fun, fast-paced entry into the world of D&D, designed for new D&D fans. Players to get to choose their characters and their journey as they travel through the lands of Neverwinter. Tie-in, again, Forgotten Realms, Neverwinter Nights, yeah. They'll work together to battle monsters and defeat the boss monster that is terrorizing the realm. The role of Dungeon Master passes from player to player within each turn, so everyone gets to be a part of the storytelling. It's an exciting portal to the monsters, magic, and heroes of Dungeons & Dragons, and makes a great gift for the emerging D&D fan. Includes 4 minifigures, 4 boss tiles, and 4 20-sided die, 10-sided Dungeon Master die. 10-sided Dungeon Master die? Huh. Damage clip, 4 health trackers, plastic deck holder, 20 character tiles, 4 dungeon boards, 24 gold, I guess gold pieces, 4 adventure decks, item reference cards, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So that, I mean, anybody else have chillins out there in the chat that would be interested in that? Because I think that, this might be something I get. Let's see. While we're here, there's something that I saw earlier. I just started running. Gray says, I just started running a no thank you evil RPG game with Tesla. I keep the session short and she's loving it. That's great. I think Tesla would be a natural at this. And if she ever gets stumped, just ask her to ask Uncle Russell for advice. Okay. She has this. This is what I wanted to show you guys. Can anybody see this? Let me zoom it in. Okay. All right. My Little Pony Dungeons & Dragons crossover collection. Cutie marks and dragon figures. Cutie marks and dragons. How adorable. My Little Pony. And you get the bard, magic user, little rogue, or somebody trying to go to the gas station during the Rona. Yeah, so right there. It's crazy. You've got 5 figures and a 20-sided die. Check out the price tag on that. Check that out. $60 for 5 My Little Pony figures. They got you coming and going on that one. But ouch. Yeah. So, whew. So that's what's new recently in the world of Dungeons & Dragons merchandising. So what do you guys think, huh? You in there for My Little Pony? You in there for the board game? What you think? Or are you guys gonna go to the local game store and pick up a copy of Mystic Odyssey of Theros? What do you guys think? So let's see. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let's just do this. Change this around. And let me get out of that. All right. So, all right. So look, I'm going to. We're kind of more than halfway through here, and actually we're running a lot longer than I thought I was going to. So, let me do this real quick. I have one bit of D&D advice before we get into the home stretch of the show. So let's talk about this real quick. How many people out there in the chat are current or former players, or players interested, or people interested in playing the game? I'll just give you guys a second here. Yeah. Gray says, let's see. Mike, Pony Bros. Yeah. Hey, how about a channel giveaway? I'll purchase the My Little Pony Dungeons & Dragons tie-in and part them out and give them away individually. Yeah. So let's see. Take it away now. My Grace says her next purchase is Volos. Volos is good. Volos is good stuff. So, okay. So, all right. So, the only piece of advice I want to dole out for DM advice is this. So there's going to be times when you're a player at the table and you maybe don't necessarily agree with something that the Dungeon Master has said. And you don't necessarily think that something that they said was correct or handled in the right way. It's never a good idea to bring that up at the table during gameplay. There's a couple things that'll happen. One, you're going to completely bog the game down. Two, you're probably going to really piss off your dungeon master. And never flat out tell him he is wrong. I don't care if you think you're correct. I don't care if you have a book out that tells you that this is rules is written. Never, ever tell your dungeon master that he is wrong, because no matter what, whatever that person says at the table, they're correct. Now, they may not be right, but they're always correct. So what you should do is, the proper way you need to handle something like that is you need to make a note of it, whatever the situation is, and then approach your dungeon master after the session and say, hey, can we talk about such and such? I'd just like a clarification. How are you running this? Like, how is this different than the way I'm used to doing it? Is there a particular reason you're doing it? Is it just something that I missed? So whatever you do for the sake of your own sanity and the sake of your dungeon master's sanity, any type of objection you have to anything that goes on in game, 100% save for when after the last dice is rolled. And if you do that, you're going to avoid arguments at the table. You're going to avoid bringing your games to a complete stop, and you're going to avoid a lot of headaches for both you and your dungeon master. So just keep that in mind. Whether you're a new player or an old old player, just no arguments at the table, and you're going to enjoy your game a lot more for it. So I don't know if anybody has had any experience with that, but I certainly have. Yeah, don't tell him he's wrong. Like what Trinity does that. Exactly. Don't Trinity, man. Don't Trinity me, people. Don't. The DM can ultimately change whatever rule they want. This is true. Within reason, right? Yeah, they can. And most of the DMs that I've played with, like, they have their own idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncronous. They have their own stuff, but generally, like, the rules are pretty close to rules as written. It's just the minutiae and details that you really have to worry about. But, you get used to that after playing with, a certain DM for a while. So, all right. You know what? We are going to skip over one part. I was going to build a character with everybody tonight, but we're not going to do that. We're going to save that. So, I'm going to get into two things I want to talk about right now. So we're going to do a couple channel notes before we do the last little section. Anybody who is playing along, who is looking forward to the dice boxes, where they are being made, this right here is the wood for the outside of the dice boxes. So these dice boxes are going to be A, given away, and B, given away to certain people who ordered them. So yeah, so there's that. Two, I want you guys to tell me, either in here or on any of the videos or in email or Discord, what type of topics you would like covered in under 10 minutes or less. Because I'm interested in hearing from you guys. So, you guys let me know what you would like covered in 10 minutes or less. Now, I understand the multi-classing issues. Yes, multi-classing is something that I really think needs to be deep dove on, or really explored. So, I mean, I'll do that, but that discovers a lot of discussion. That requires a lot of discussion. So, let's talk about the Dungeon Master Builds-A. So I've decided to put that on to the end of these shows. So tonight, everybody's here. You are the early the early subscribers to the Dungeon Master Builds. Tonight, here's how it's going to go. So everybody is here who is automatically, everybody's here right now. Pop your name in chat. Just say, hey, I'm going to write everybody's name down. They have automatically gotten 3 hours of accrued playtime in whatever adventure world campaign that we build. So right now, just say, hey, and I'm going to write y'all name down. So I already know. We've got Gray is in the building. We've got Mike Porter. Adam. Lisa. What else we got? Yep. Need videos on how to piss off a Dungeon Master. I can tell you. I can tell you how to piss off Dungeon Masters. All right. So the way this is going to work is we're going to dedicate some time every week to building our campaign space. And the way you guys are going to, you're going to participate if you're here, and you're going to develop, or you're not going to develop, you're going to accrue a certain amount of hours that you guys can cash in to play in the world. We're going to create a world from the ground up. We're going to start tonight by deciding two main things. We're going to decide what type of setting we're going to do and whether the world is, what type of world it's going to be. So once we finish creating the world, the setting, the continent, the government, we're going to run through, create everything from the ground up. We're going to create 5 characters to play in this world. The characters are not going to belong to any one person. They're going to be embedded in the world, and all of you out there are going to take your turns role-playing these characters. So I think it's going to be fun to see how everybody has a different take on these characters. So yeah, and tonight is the first night, so everybody here has already gotten 3 hours of accrued time in. So tell your friends, if they want to have a chance to play in this world, come on, stop by and Up Late with the Dungeon Master, and we're gonna go from there. So I don't know if I did this right, so we will see if I did. I've created a CloudBot poll. So I'm going to open the polling up. Can everybody still see me? So the first question is, what should the world be? So if you want the world to be mostly continents, you're going to do exclamation vote 1 in the chat. If you want it to be mostly islands, you're going to do exclamation vote 2. If you want it to be debate dungeons, yes. If you want it to be a good mix of both, you're going to do a vote exclamation point vote 4. And if you're going to say fuck it, give me all that and a hollow world to boot, you're going to say exclamation vote 3. I'm going to open up the poll and let's see if this works. Here we go. So there it is. Okay, a poll has opened. What should you be? Exclamation vote 1, 2, 4, or 3. So let's see. Okay, so that doesn't show up on the screen there. So Gray, you have to do exclamation vote 4, like Lisa did right there. So the poll is going to be open for a minute. So let's see, and I don't know how to make that appear on the screen, but I'll figure it out at some point. So I feel like so excited. This is my first poll. Let's see. All right, where are we at here? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull up after this is done the program that we're gonna use to build our maps. So let's see where we're at here. Yeah, Greg, you need a space in there. Polls. So sitting right now, yeah, I will, Adam. I appreciate it. I thought maybe I would have to do like some sort of screen share thing, but we'll talk about it. So at this point, with no time left, we've got Mostly Islands in the lead with 75% of the vote. So it looks like we are going to have our land be mostly islands, which is cool. I like islands. What's up, buddy? What you need? You need the charger?
Yeah.
You need the charger. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Gideon needs a charger. There you go, pal. You want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? Stick your head in here, bud. Come on. Come on over. Wave hi. There's Gideon. I closed the poll, Gray. I'm sorry. All right. So we're going to do a world that is comprised of mostly islands. All right. I like that. All right. So for the last thing poll for tonight, the second thing we are going to decide on is what type of setting is it. So let's go back here. So what type of setting are we going to have? So there's I gathered 4 different types of settings. So we've got high magic, high fantasy, which means there's an awful lot of magic. Think sword and sorcery, very classic D&D, very classic. Low magic, realistic, that's going to be 2. High magic, fantasy is 1. Low magic, realistic, that's going to be 2. That means like magic is going to be sparse. You're looking at the difference between King Arthur, where you pretty much had one person who had magic, and that was Merlin, versus Willow. We had a whole bunch of other people with magic. Maybe not the best examples, but just off the top of my head. High magic, low magic. You guys understand what I'm talking about. So 3 is going to be Gothic horror. Now, think Gothic horror is going to be more in line with think Victorian era, where you're going to have a lot of your horror tropes. Think like very prim and proper nobility. Not a lot of men walking around in armor. Yeah, men walking around in like in leather. So the setting's a little different. Ravenloft is a good example of Gothic horror. So that's gonna be 3, and then Magitech, Steampunk, Noir. Now Magitech and Steampunk Noir is pretty much what it evokes. Like you're gonna look at almost all the modern conveniences that we have nowadays, like trains, boats, vehicles, like really high magic, but instead of things running on oil or gas or power, everything runs on magic. Like they've entrapped elementals and put them into their airships in order to make the airships run. All the infrastructure is based off of magic as its source, rather than fossil fuel. So that's interesting in and of itself. So I'm going to start the poll. So you're going to look at exclamation point vote 1 for high magic fantasy, classic D&D. Exclamation point vote 2 for low magic, realistic. Exclamation point vote 3 for Gothic horror, vampire, Strahd, that sort of thing. Exclamation point vote 4 for Magitech, Steampunk, Noir. More creature comforts. So I'm going to start the poll now. Oh, wait a minute. Poll is currently underway. Okay. The poll is underway. Unable to start this poll. It says, don't forget to put I'm having a difficult time starting the second poll. Give me 1 second, guys. See if I can figure that out. Polls complete. There we go. Start poll. There we go. Okay. The last poll has started. There we go. Most islands. Okay, so everybody just remember, high magic fantasy setting is 1. Gene, you're right here, buddy. Hey, Gene, you're just in time. You need to vote on what type of setting we're going to do for our campaign, for the campaign we're building. Exclamation point, vote 1 for high magic fantasy. Exclamation point, vote 2 for low magic realistic. Exclamation point 3 for gothic horror. And exclamation point 4 for Magitech steampunk noir. Man, I tell you what, steampunk noir Magitech is running away with it. That's craziness. I wouldn't have expected that. Air pirates. Yes, I mean, this is true. I mean, there are a lot of good things, really interesting things you can do with the steampunk Magitech. And it doesn't have to look like classic steampunk. You can still have a lot of the classic D&D elements, but you can also have airships and trains that are powered by elementals. I mean, how cool is that? Right? So, yeah. That certainly looks like Magitech is running away with it. 5 votes. Man. Almost 100%. Almost 100%. Yeah. You don't need a poll. Give us steampunk piracy, grabby hands. Yeah. All right. I can just call it. I can call it just because how many people are in here, and yeah. So I'll give you guys, let's see, 2 and 1. I'll give anybody who hasn't voted yet another 30 seconds, and then we're gonna call it. So at this point, we got another 20 seconds left. The polling is open. But I'm going to start writing it down here. Gonna start 8 seconds. No flurry of 5 votes for low magic. No. You know what? 2, 1. I'm going to close that poll. I'm going to complete that and take a look at that. Magitech Steampunk Noir, 100% of the vote. Adam, have you ever had 100% of the vote for anything during any debate 8s, except for Forrest Gump? Okay, Magitech Steampunk. All right. Now here, we're not going to get into it tonight because we're already running late and I'm already over an hour. But at the beginning, we're going to get to it much quicker next week. I'm going to show you a little sneak preview of how we're going to be building our campaign. Let's just kick the music back on. Window capture. All right. This is a map building tool called Incarnate. And we're going to create a new map here. Choose a style. Everybody see this? Choose a style. We're going to do Fantasy World. Click on that. The world's best for large-scale maps, countries, and continents, even entire worlds. So, we chose mainly islands. So, I don't know. Well, yeah. Tundral. So, choose a style. So, I'm looking at something like that. That looks pretty much like mainly as long as they're fractures. Yeah. Oh, there'll be fractures. There's going to be fractures to step through. So, digital landscape, create a map. All right, let's see. Let's see what this comes up with here. And here we go. We got a complete blank slate. And I promise you guys, I will not start creating this map without you guys here. So, I think for the next episode of Up Late with the Dungeon Master, we will probably spend a little bit of time doing the story mode and a little bit of time doing the other stuff. But I think from here on out, we're going to start spending some more time on building the campaign. How does that sound for everybody? Does that sound good? Because I think that sounds pretty good. So, all right. So, you know what? I am over my time, but I just want to thank everybody who showed up today. I want to thank Gray, Mike Porter, Russell, Adam from Fanjecture, Lisa. Good to see you, Lisa. Let's see, who am I missing? Gene came in towards the end, came in strong, talking about fractures. Good to see you. Everybody, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you guys sticking out with me while I try to figure out exactly what we're doing here. Love you guys. Love this subject. It has been an awesome night, and as I always like to say, in the game of life, may you always roll with advantage.